What's up, everyone? Aaron Negler here with your Packers Daily Chat on Cheesehead TV, coming to you live on the internet, wherever you are in the world, because that's what we do. We're devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Love to jump in the mix with all of you each and every day, or as many days as I can, including everyone who's here in the chat already. Thank you so much for joining me live on a Monday as the Packers head into summer break. And as the title of this stream says, the quieter, the better. The less we know, the less we hear about these guys from now until the start of training camp. I mean, sure, if they're doing some kind of charitable event, I'd love to hear about it. But for the most part, let them go away and let them do their thing. And please, just be safe and be careful and come back all ready to go. Late July. Hello to everybody. Look up. Look at all these people. How was my Father's Day, Jesse? It was fantastic. Spent it with my 3 fair daughters. We went to the beer garden and watched the World Cup. Can't think of a better, more perfect day. Holla from Kentucky. What's up, Kevin? Leroy Butler makes the Hall of Fame this year. Thoughts? Dustin, my thought is probably not, unfortunately. Anybody who knows me, has watched me over the years, knows you should have been in a long time ago. But cracking that rotation, it's going to be tough. Maybe if we make enough noise online, and I know all the selectors, all the people in the room trying to discourage me from saying that, but screw all that. Shame them if you have to. It's ridiculous that it's taken this long for even for him to be in the conversation. What time does the tailgate typically start for a noon game? Good question, Duncan. Corey and I usually start drinking around 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. But that's, upon awakening and making an old-fashioned. But in the parking lot, I'd say 7 or 8, somewhere around there. You could definitely arrive and find people already getting their stuff on. 8 a.m. Corey coming in and yelling, 8 a.m. Listen, Banky, I'm telling the people what they need to hear, all right? Banky's back, everybody, by the way. Back from California. We're just already, first day back, just yelling crap into the studio. I like it. Hey, that's a great question, Andy. Where can my girlfriend get tickets to a Packers game? I'll tell you where she can go. Go to cheeseheadtv.com and find the link to Ticket King. About halfway down the page. Ticket King's been around since 1992. Physically, they're located right across from Lambeau Field. But you can purchase any Packers tickets that you need, whether preseason, if they're lucky enough to make the playoffs, or any regular season game, home or away. Ticket King has got you covered. Make sure you check them out for all your Packers tickets needs. Corey coming in hot. You got that right. Nags, what are your thoughts on Nathaniel Hackett? Alex, interesting question. I really love what he brings to the table as far as the running game goes. If you look through his history, where he's been, and a lot of these stops have included less than stellar quarterback play, he has had a running game that has produced at every level, at every stop, and again, with a quarterback, usually with a quarterback that doesn't exactly strike fear into his opponents. That means his running game has been productive against stacked boxes a lot of the time. And you marry that with LaFleur coming out of Shanahan's system, I really like that potential combination. And I've really liked the vibe I've gotten from him. I got to speak to him at the Combine for a little bit, and from what I've seen at the podium, I like the addition, and I like the combination of him and LaFleur working together. And I think this could, if the Packers turn the offense around and are successful, I think this could help propel him to maybe a full-time head coaching job. We'll see. Why is DeJuan Harris not in the league? He was so good for us. Nicholas, I'm with you, man. Everybody knows I love DeJuan. Maybe it was hard to catch on, and sometimes guys give up the ghost, so to speak, but I'm all in, man. Why aren't we looking at Matt Flynn as a backup? You can tell it's summer break because we've got DeJuan Harris and Matt Flynn questions back to back. I love it. Did you watch the U.S. Open, Nags? I know you're a soccer geek. Any interest in golf, though? Ryan, soccer geek. I resemble that remark. No, I don't watch golf. But LiveX was there handling the stream for Fox. That's where Corey's been all week. Does Aaron Jones' skill set remind you of DeJuan Harris a little? That's a really interesting question. I think DeJuan was more of a straight line runner, whereas I think Aaron has a little bit more slipperiness to him, a little bit more maneuverability slash escapability, so to speak. I think he gets skinnier in the hole a little better. But I could see the similarities. I think Dewan was a little bit more power, and Aaron's a little bit more wiggle, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm glad someone brought it. Any insight to Rodgers not wanting to give up control at the line of scrimmage? Zachary, I'm glad you asked. I've loved watching this play out over the course of the last 3-4 days. I take a modicum of pride in the fact that I knew after Mike Silver spoke on NFL Network about his time in Green Bay, he spoke with both LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers for a piece he was doing for NFL Network, NFL Media. And in that appearance on NFL Network, he mentioned the quote that I put on Twitter. And I didn't see it anywhere else. But I found the quote kind of interesting. That's the extent of it. But I knew by putting it on Twitter that it would turn into something. I made a tweet, I made a blog post, and I let it be. And then 3 days later, of course, Mike Florio's written about it, I think twice, maybe even 3 times, and blown it up into something. Other people latched onto it. My Twitter mentions were on fire. Mostly Bears fans going, oh, Rodgers, he's terrible, he sucks, he's a douchebag, he's like already warring with the coach. Of course, these are 12-year-olds who don't understand that a minicamp quote in June doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. And as Mike Silver unveiled this morning, Monday morning, that quote itself was part of a much larger conversation that he had with Mike about the work, and it's work that LaFleur and Rodgers are doing in regards to Aaron wanting a little bit more control at the line of scrimmage than maybe most quarterbacks have had in this system. Now, of course, Rodgers wants control. He's had control for the last several years. And as I thought the part of the quote that Rodgers had about other quarterbacks that have control, whether it's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning back in the day, Drew Brees, etc., there are a handful of guys who, of course, know what they're doing at the line of scrimmage and have seen everything and know what it's going to take to maybe get out of something that's a little less advantageous. Now, and I think a couple of people made this point in regards to LaFleur's quote, one of LaFleur's quotes in Mike's piece about the offense traditionally having a sequence and wanting to set things up throughout the game, and the way they attack certain coverages and what they see and what they expect, the film study breakdowns and how they're going to sequence plays and the window dressing around them to give the defense a lot of stuff to worry about. All of that comes into play. And so the balance that LaFleur has to find is knowing what has worked traditionally in Shanahan's system, all the way going back to their time in Houston up till now, and then marrying that with Aaron Rodgers' ability at the line of scrimmage and his knowledge, which Rodgers talked about, and just knowing when to say, okay, all right, you can save us here. When there's this presented to you, or when you're approached on that, as far as looking out across the line of scrimmage and you see something, yeah, please get us out of it and get us into something better. But this idea that they're at war or that there's a problem or, they're getting off on the wrong foot, that's all internet nonsense. As I said on Twitter on Friday, this is exactly how Favre and McCarthy started. And that helped turn Favre around. You need a little creative tension. You need a little push and pull. They're exactly where they need to be. Aaron Rodgers is exactly where he needs to be with Matt LaFleur. Period. Your Chicago meatball guy is much better than your Jim Mora senior playoff rant. Just pulling him out. Let's see. When does training camp or whatever the next thing is start? The next thing is the shareholders meeting, which is the day before training camp, which is, I believe, July 24th. See, Nags, what happened to James Starks? I don't know what happened to James Starks. I know he is out of the league. I remember he got cut by the Packers, and I don't think he ever got picked up by anybody. It's pretty simple. Michael Roberts off waivers. I don't know if it was off waivers. I think they just signed him. This is a tight end from Detroit. Maybe it was off waivers. I can't remember. I know it was breaking right before we went live, but I know the Detroit Lions had tried to trade him to the Patriots, and then he had failed his physical, which made him revert to the Lions. And I don't know if they cut him or if they cut him and he cleared waivers and the Packers signed him, or if they cut him and he was on waivers. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, the Packers filled their 90th spot on their roster with another tight end. Who wins old-fashioned versus Mai Tai? William, I am insulted by that question. Old-fashioned, of course. Let's head over to the old tweet machine. Let's see what's going on. With Charmed, I'm sure, Gillifies. Steve, that's great. I enjoy when Packers media tweet about the good plays they see in practice. Makes me excited for the season, but I can't help but think that other teams are looking at our media members and making notes about said plays. Am I being paranoid? Wow. Yes. Yes, you're being paranoid. They definitely are not looking at Packers media tweets. They're definitely not looking, especially media that covers other teams. They don't care about what's going on at Packers camp or Packers practice. Might there be a scout or something looking at them? Okay, maybe. I doubt it, though. Nobody's looking at play-by-play from practice tweets in June. That ain't happening. Enjoy. What I'm trying to say is just enjoy it. How's Cole Madison look so far? By all accounts, he's looked good, but I don't really care about much that offensive linemen are doing in June in shorts. Let's take a look again when he's in pads. Oh, of course, from Germany. Here we go. Where we're nach der wide receiver number 2 being the Green Bay Packers hinter Davante Adams. Which, of course, means who, in your opinion, will be the number 2 wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers behind Davante Adams? And I would think all reports coming out of camp right now would suggest that it's MVS, but I would caution that it is still early, and let us see what happens when they get to camp and the pads come on. And that's not to take anything away from the work MVS has done this spring, and that's not to say that he won't continue doing and running opposite Adams, but those pads come on and plays start to get made. Guys can change their positions. Their pecking order in the depth chart can change. So Allison, EQ, Kumaro, hell, even Trevor Davis could make a move. So right now it's MVS, but a lot of ball game left. Let's head back over to the chat, shall we? What is going on with Nick Perry? He's a free agent. Apparently not in demand, as the case may be. But we'll see what happens. I would tend to think a team suffering an injury early on in camp, as always happens, it will undoubtedly give him a call. Billy Turner has been getting big praise. He has indeed. And you like what you see as far as the physical traits. Again, it's offensive line play. They're in shorts. Let's see what happens when the pads come on. But the early returns definitely are good. So no one has been brought in to compete with Crosby? No, they have. What's his name? What's his name again? Newitt? Blewett? Kewitt? No, that was in Chicago. I can't remember the kid's name, but yeah. No, there's another kicker on camp. Petition to change Kumaro to Touchdown Jesus, from Touchdown Jesus to Touchdown John Wick. All those in favor? Conspiracy theory, Jones was faking his reported injury so he didn't have to practice. I'm not sure I agree with your police work there. If anything, I would think the Packers are the ones who said, okay, look, you've got a hamstring injury, as they try to work this thing out. But who knows? I don't think he was faking anything. I mean, it's hard to fake, again, when you've got medical professionals checking you out. I'm just here for Packers football to start, Jesse. Make it so. There we go. We're done. Fast forward through the summer. Ficken. Thank you. Ficken. Sam Ficken is the competition for Mason Crosby. How do you think the Packers' offensive personnel stacks up against the rest of the league? Can we be elite aside from Rodgers? Well, of course, the entire premise of that question is based on what you consider elite. I am hesitant to say they're just going to hit the ground running and tear the league apart. I do think they'll get there eventually. Probably not this year. Maybe as the year goes on, you will see a great turnaround. I do think you'll see an initial burst and then somewhat of a recorrection. I think next year is probably the year they start to tear it up. But first year, same personnel outside of an additional offensive lineman, basically. I think you will see more productivity, maybe a little more efficiency. But I'm hesitant to say that it will be this monster turnaround, this Wizard of Oz moment going from black and white to color. Let's get to camp and see what they're cooking with. Do you think whoever loses the field goal competition will head to the Bears? I tell you what, Juan, if they were, and I don't think this will happen, but if they were to cut Mason Crosby, the Bears would sign him in a second, in a millisecond. They would set a land speed record for signing a free agent. Zero question about it. Hey, Banky, Brewers! I love it. I love you guys. Kawhi to Green Bay watch. Oh, now we know it's the offseason. You guys are just showing like ridiculousness now. What's the position of most concern in the secondary? Sly, I would think it's got to be safety depth. You know, past those front two, and even with Savage, you don't really know. I mean, we're all very excited. I'm especially excited about Savage's potential, but we don't really know how he's going to do in the NFL. You know, I think Amos is a solid player, an ascending player. Past those two, even there's a lot of question marks. I know Raven Green. We'll see if he continues to develop. Mike Tyson is back there. Who knows what he brings to the table? So I think there's a lot of talent at corner. There's a lot of unknown at safety, even in the starting spots. We always hear that the receivers run a wrong route or misread the D. How many times has Rodgers ever misread the D and made a wrong throw? And if so, who berates him? No one berating Rodgers, I'll tell you that. To this day, the only time I've ever seen a teammate upset with Aaron outwardly, like demonstratively, like cameras caught it, was when Aaron threw to Devontae in 2015 down in Arizona. And Devontae dropped it in the end zone. And the broadcast caught TJ Lang basically yelling at Rodgers about throwing to Devontae. That was like the only time I've ever seen anyone get upset at Aaron publicly. Now, do things maybe get said on the sideline? Behind closed doors? Maybe. Are there coaches, holding Aaron accountable? Winston Moss would suggest no. But don't think that doesn't happen. I have little doubt. Yes, maybe there's a read where Aaron was wrong. There's a throw where he put it in the wrong spot, thinking the wide receiver was going to make a different adjustment. But those moments, in and of themselves, are few and far between, and we certainly would never hear about it. Is there a lot of ball game left? There's always a lot of ball game left. And look for the lot of ball game left t-shirts available in the Cheesehead TV shop very, very soon. If Rodgers gets injured again this year, do you think it's time to use a high draft pick on a quarterback? I tell you what, Timo, I think it might be time to use a high draft pick on a quarterback even if he doesn't get hurt. It is about time. It is about time to start looking for his predecessor. A predecessor? Successor. It's about time to be looking for Brett Favre. Wonder how many Pats people were at all the new coaches' OTAs with tape recorders. Well, Packers and the Patriots aren't going to play again for a while unless it's in the Super Bowl, so I doubt it. Vikings or Bears our hardest challenge? Ooh, good question, Dice. I'd probably say Bears. I think both will be formidable, and I wouldn't leave out the Lions from the tough test list, simply because they've beaten the Packers the last 4 times they've played. So I think the entire division is going to be tough, and it's going to beat the hell out of each other all throughout the season. I don't think there's any question there. Devontae told Aaron to throw a better ball in the game in Dallas. He did indeed. In fact, I asked him that question. Fun fact. I asked what he said when he came back to the huddle. But yeah, Devontae did say throw a better ball But I don't really think that was upset or yelling or demonstrative by any means. But you're right. He did tell him to throw a better ball. Any word on a beer sponsor? Jesse, watch this space. There could be a cold beverage right here in front of me that I get to talk about. A lot of ball game left, though. Brett Favre already came back. He plays in Cleveland and wears number 6. Oh, man, Baker's fun to watch, isn't he? That is gonna be a good time in Cleveland. No matter how it goes. Like if they ascend to the heights of elite status in the NFL or if they crash and burn, it is going to be fun to watch. Do I follow O.J. Simpson on Twitter? No. Where can we find tickets again? Mike, I'll tell you, you can go to cheeseheadtv.com and find the link to Ticket King. They've been around since 1992, and they can serve all your Packers tickets needs. I'll tell you what, if you want to go to a preseason game, if the Packers make the playoffs, or any regular season game, home or away, Ticket King. Check them out. Either on the internet, or they are right across from Lambeau Field. Tell them Cheesehead TV sent you. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to yours. I'll be back tomorrow with some extra cheese, and we'll be back with a daily on Wednesday. In the meantime, make sure you're checking cheeseheadtv.com for all the latest on the Green Bay Packers. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're on Facebook, like, share with your friends, your family, all your Packer fans that are in your life. Because we here at Cheesehead TV, we're devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.